Hello friends and welcome to our YouTube channel, Guru Immigration. In today's video, I will talk exclusively about sponsoring someone to Canada, wherein you will 1. Learn how to bring family members to Canada with confidence and ease through our step-by-step guide on sponsorship. 2. Discover the eligibility requirements and documents needed to successfully sponsor parents or grandparents to Canada. 3. Understand the financial responsibilities involved in sponsoring a family member to Canada with our informative video. 4. Overcome the challenge of preparing a successful sponsorship application with our tips and tricks video. And 5. Get all your questions about sponsoring family members to Canada answered in our informative FAQ video. So sit back, grab a notebook, and let's explore some exciting job opportunities together. Sponsoring family members to Canada can be a complex process, but it can also be a very rewarding experience. Here is a step-by-step guide to help you sponsor your family members to Canada. Step 1. Determine your eligibility to sponsor. The first step in sponsoring your family member to Canada is to determine if you are eligible to sponsor. You must be a Canadian citizen or permanent resident, over the age of 18, and meet specific financial requirements. Step 2. Choose the type of sponsorship. There are two main types of sponsorship programs for family members in Canada: the family class sponsorship and the spouse or common law partner sponsorship. You must select the appropriate sponsorship category based on your relationship with the family member you wish to sponsor. Step 3. Submit your sponsorship application. Once you have determined your eligibility and selected the appropriate sponsorship category, you can submit your sponsorship application. The application will include several forms, supporting documents, and fees. Step 4. Wait for processing. Once you have submitted your sponsorship application, you must wait for processing. The processing time can vary depending on the type of sponsorship, the country of origin of the sponsored person, and other factors. Step 5. Complete medical and security checks. Once your sponsorship application is processed, the sponsored person will be required to undergo a medical examination and a security check. Step 6. Wait for approval. After completing the medical and security checks, the sponsored person must wait for approval from Canadian immigration authorities. Step 7. Travel to Canada. Once the sponsorship is approved, the sponsored person can travel to Canada and become a permanent resident. Sponsoring family members to Canada involves determining your eligibility, choosing the appropriate sponsorship category, submitting your application, waiting for processing, completing medical and security checks, waiting for approval, and finally, traveling to Canada. It is a complex process, but with patience and persistence, you can successfully sponsor your family members to Canada. Sponsoring a family member to Canada comes with financial responsibilities. Here are the step-by-step financial responsibilities of sponsoring a family member to Canada. Step 1. Determine your financial responsibilities. As a sponsor, you are responsible for providing financial support to your sponsored family member for a specific period of time. You must ensure that you have enough financial resources to meet your obligations. Step 2. Sign an agreement with the government. Before sponsoring a family member to Canada, you will be required to sign an agreement with the Canadian government. This agreement outlines your financial responsibilities as a sponsor. Step 3. Provide financial support. As a sponsor, you are responsible for providing financial support to your sponsored family member for a certain period of time. This includes basic needs such as food, clothing, and shelter. Step 4. Repay the government if necessary. If your sponsored family member receives social assistance from the Canadian government during the sponsorship period, you will be required to repay the government for these costs. Step 5. Keep records of financial support. It is important to keep records of all financial support provided to your sponsored family member. This includes receipts, bank statements, and other documents that demonstrate your financial support. Step 6. Provide financial support even after sponsorship period. Your financial responsibilities as a sponsor do not end once the sponsorship period is over. If your sponsored family member is unable to support themselves after the sponsorship period, you may be required to continue providing financial support. The financial responsibilities of sponsoring a family member to Canada include determining your financial responsibilities, signing an agreement with the government, providing financial support, repaying the government if necessary, keeping records of financial support, and providing financial support even after the sponsorship period. It is important to understand these financial responsibilities before sponsoring a family member to Canada. Sponsoring family members to Canada can be a complex process with many questions. Here are some frequently asked questions about sponsoring family members to Canada. Question: who is eligible to sponsor family members to Canada? A. Canadian citizens and permanent residents who are over 18 years old and meet specific financial requirements are eligible to sponsor family members to Canada. Question: what is the difference between family class sponsorship and spouse or common law partner sponsorship? A. Family class sponsorship is for close relatives such as parents, grandparents, and dependent children. Spouse or common law partner sponsorship is for spouses, common law partners, and conjugal partners. Question: what are the financial responsibilities of sponsoring a family member to Canada? A. Sponsors are responsible for providing financial support to their sponsored family member for a specific period of time. This includes basic needs such as food, clothing, and shelter. Question: how long does the sponsorship process take? A. The processing time can vary depending on the type of sponsorship, the country of origin of the sponsored person, and other factors. It can take several months to over a year. Question: what documents do I need to submit with my sponsorship application? A. You will need to submit several forms, supporting documents, and fees. This includes proof of your citizenship or permanent residency, proof of your relationship with the sponsored person, and financial documents. Question: what if my sponsored family member receives social assistance from the Canadian government during the sponsorship period? A. Sponsors may be required to repay the government for any social assistance received by their sponsored family member during the sponsorship period. Question: can I sponsor my parents or grandparents to Canada? A. Yes, you can sponsor your parents or grandparents to Canada, but there is a limit on the number of applications accepted each year. Question: can I appeal if my sponsorship application is refused? A. Yes, you can appeal if your sponsorship application is refused. You will need to provide additional evidence to support your appeal. Sponsoring family members to Canada involves a complex process with many questions. Understanding the eligibility requirements, financial responsibilities, and documentation needed for the sponsorship process is essential. Question: who is eligible to sponsor family members to Canada? A. Canadian citizens and permanent residents who are over 18 years old and meet specific financial requirements are eligible to sponsor family members to Canada. Question: what is the difference between family class sponsorship and spouse or common law partner sponsorship? A. Family class sponsorship is for close relatives such as parents, grandparents, and dependent children. Spouse or common law partner sponsorship is for spouses, common law partners, and conjugal partners. Friends, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. See you in next video. Bye for now.